All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGcast episode number 802. I'm your host, GBD, here in Long Island, New York. And as always, we're joined by a man who wishes that Russian spies would just give him some money. Wombat.
They owe it to me.
What games would Russian spies want you to promote?
Is it Stalker? Isn't that the game?
Does that have Putin propaganda in it?
I think probably. And what was that game? Atomic Heart? Isn't that also Russian
Atomic
propaganda?
Hearts or something? With the robots.
Yeah, with the robots.
I don't know. That was pretty good, though.
Was it? Was it, though?
Or maybe I'm getting a little... not cutting you guys in.
Oh, I see. I understand now. Yes.
Comrade. You know what I'm saying, comrade?
Da. Game's good.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Sorry to get so political this quick.
That's
Shipwreck.
all right.
I see Shipwreck's already turned off.
Yeah.
In Russia, atomics heart you.
Right.
Mhm.
Ship, just put on some Bruce Springsteen in the background.
Bruce
In your headphones.
Yeah.
What are you listening to right now?
I'm listening to the Manic Street Preachers doing a cover of Been a Son.
Those are all made up words. What is that? Men at who? Men at work?
The Manic Street Preachers.
Manic Street Preachers. And what's the song?
It's a cover of a Nirvana song, Been a Son.
Oh. All right. Men at work? Is that what you said? I'm going to go with Men at Work.
Men at Work, fine. They might play it sometime during the episode as well.
Nice. All right. What have you guys been up to? It's been a week.
I know. I was off of work last week, but I didn't do much of anything.
Staycation.
But we staycationed. The kids. It was their week between camp and school, and we're like, oh, we'll do stuff with the kids all week. It'll be great. They made plans every day without us.
Of course, they don't want to hang out with you.
So, well, my daughter got work. She got a babysitting gig because it was the week between camp and school, and she got a 6-hour-a-day babysitting gig.
Wow.
3 days. And she made a couple of $100. So she was like, I'm going to make some cash.
So now you pay her rent now?
Yeah.
You pay the rent right to her?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Right. That's
Mm-hmm.
smart. It's smart. I mean, look, it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
She's not making that money without your housing and your proximity to the other kid's house.
And, my son's on that marathon bike kick thing. So he would meet up with this same little group of friends and they would ride 27 miles a day. I don't understand that, but
so what they're doing is they ride 4 miles to the park. They smoke a big doink in the park and they have this thing on the bike that makes the pedals go. Think that the app makes you think that they show you the app.
We could see where he's going.
Well, what they do is there's a service now where they bring you the weed.
Like an RC car that's driving.
A drone.
Drone.
They just load all of them back in the backside of a U-Haul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
They just
I don't know,
drive the U-Haul.
I don't think I could do it. I don't know.
What, ride 26 miles on a bicycle?
Yeah, ride 26 miles on a bike.
Oh. I think you could. Over the course of how long? A day?
He does. I mean, he'll do it. It's 6 hours because they, they'll stop and get lunch and then they hang out for a little bit. But, it's still 26 miles of bike riding in a day, which is a lot.
To watch Foxy boxing.
Yeah, they stop at the strip club. Yeah, all those things. All those things that kids that like to go marathon bike riding are definitely
It's a front. They're delivering drugs.
There you go. No, because then he wouldn't ask me for money.
What's that? They still ask you for money?
He would stop asking me for money,
right.
and then
you would know.
That's when I'll be suspicious.
Right, smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. It hurts my balls when I ride a bike for any length of time. I find it very uncomfortable.
He did join cross country track though, because he wants to be just like Uncle Shipwreck. Mm-hmm. So that's his goal.
It's a fine sport.
Yep. Yes.
Only for the hardiest of men and women.
I still remember the advice that Shipwreck told me every time I'm on the treadmill at Orange Theory. He says, swing your hands through your pockets. the only thing that I know how to do. That's the only. I mean, that's the only advice I've ever been given. Running on a treadmill. So that's what I focus on, and breathing.
Yeah, it's good not to have too much going through your head at the same time. So
right, breathing every like 3 steps. I try to like breathe in, and then breathe out, and swing the hands. What do you do on the treadmill? What do you think, Wombat?
I think don't die. Don't die.
What do you do with your hands though?
It depends. Sometimes I do the pump.
You're power walking though, right?
I'm at like a good 4 miles per hour now. So it's like it's considered the lowest of run, but it's also considered the top of walking. So I don't know.
Wait, no, you know whether you're walking or running. Like I know that
it's
the
a brisk
machine
walk.
Doesn't know, but
it's a brisk
you're walking,
walk.
right?
It's a brisk, yeah.
If you're short,
but I'll have I set the incline to between 6 and 8.
Right, that's a lot of incline.
Yeah, I do steep incline at low speed. So it's the arm movement, and sometimes if the incline gets a little too much, I do have to hold on so I don't fall down because
it's steep.
Yeah, because it's steep.
When do you think you're going to switch to running?
I don't know. It's not like I'm not getting results.
It's not about liking it. It's about torturing yourself.
Exactly.
Doesn't the coach try to like get you to like hurt yourself?
My coach does. My coach just wants me to use heavier weights more than anything else.
Okay. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. Like he basically, it's like he asked me how much more weight I want to lose, and I gave him the number, and he said, "Well, when you do that, then we're gonna switch up the weights you use, so you can start gaining some more muscle."
Oh, okay.
So we're not quite there yet. I haven't hit my goal weight yet. Although I did buy a pair of 36 waisted jeans, and I felt like the greatest guy in the world. So
nice.
Yeah. A year ago at this time, I was a size 40. So,
that's a lot more.
Yeah. That's 4 inches. 4 inches, right? Isn't it an inch? Each thing's an inch. Isn't that how that works? Yeah. So there you go.
Nice.
It's the first time you want a man to lose 4 inches.
Bull's collar. I have big news from the courthouse of Nassau County. I fought my stupid parking ticket that I got from the Passport Parking app. So fuck you, Passport Parking, and your stupid app that when you buy it, you pay for your parking, you can still get a ticket anyway somehow. But I wasted like over 2 hours of my life so I didn't have to pay the ticket. And there's no other way to do it. That's some bullshit. I feel like I should sue somebody. Who can I sue about that?
Passport Parking.
Small claims court?
Yeah, for the time.
But I have to
What you have to do is
you
have to figure out how much money you would normally make in an hour. Double that, obviously.
What's 0 times 2?
That I believe is 56. And then,
right.
Yeah.
It's not fair that the onus is on me, the person who actually paid the fucking parking, to have to go now and spend 2 hours of my life. And as soon as I got to the prosecutor window, they call you up. It's just like a bank, right? With tellers, except it's prosecutors across instead of bank tellers. So they're like, David Abrams, prosecutor 4. And you go up there and like, what happened? I paid for the parking with the Passport app, and I got a ticket anyway. She looks at it, and I handed out the printout of the receipt and everything. She looks at it. She goes, "I'll have you out of here soon." And then, I waited like 45 minutes already. Have you out of here soon. Wait for another 45 minutes, and then drive home 25 minutes. All that shit.
Prosecutor lost another case.
I mean, it's more like, oh, this again. Like, let me sign this, and then you're gonna have to wait for this to be processed, and then you can leave eventually. It's just annoying, and I don't like it. And I wonder if any of our listeners have received a ticket when paying for an app, parking through an app, and got a ticket anyway, or it's just the fine folks at Passport who managed to do this.
I want to see the leaderboards behind the desk there of all the prosecutor tellers.
In terms of what? Like guilty?
How many cases they're winning here? Like versus losing. Like I think that's got to be going on back there. Just like
I don't know what's going on. I feel like they decide at the window, they're deciding whether or not there's going to be a case, right? Like you can tell the person, like, look, when you show them, obviously you have the receipt that you paid for the parking. They're like, they're going to dismiss the case. But if they're like, no, this is bullshit or whatever, you don't have a good reason, we're going to have a case, or, then you have to actually go somewhere besides the bank teller. I don't think they do the case at the at the teller window. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, not only that it was that annoying, the whole thing seemed very racist in that, like, the racial makeup of the people in the paying, there to like fight their tickets was not the racial makeup of the town. So that seems like some extra bullshit, added bullshit there. So fuck you, everybody. What else is going on? What else? You guys up to anything else or anything?
I went to a Green Day concert. You're to Green Day?
I do know them. That's a real band, unlike, Men at Work, I guess is real.
Was it a holiday?
They played that, yes. So it was Green Day with Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas.
This is me smiling politely.
And so Green Day, it's the 30th anniversary of Dookie, and the 20th anniversary of American Idiot. Which I don't know which one makes you feel older when you learn those
30.
two things.
Both those things make me feel very old.
I felt older when I knew like American Idiot was like 20 years old, because that's like their new stuff.
Yeah, to me that's second wave Green Day.
Right. And so they played both of those albums like front to back as part of the set. Like, and a couple other hits like thrown in. So they're really good still.
No.
But it's funny to watch the crowd because like you can tell like the age of everyone there, and it's two different waves, right? Like, because they played through Dookie in its entirety, and everybody like my age is like singing along to all the Dookie songs.
You're
like,
biting your lip, you're closing your eyes.
Right. Like the entire album, right? Like front to back, like that was on just like repeat play there. And then it gets to the like American Idiot stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember like most of these songs. I've heard this album several times, but everybody, like the people next to us, which were like, I don't know, 10 years younger or so, are like, who weren't singing all the Dookie songs, are now suddenly singing all these American Idiot songs that I do not know, but I know like the hits from
like
that
American Idiot.
Like American Idiot, yes. I was familiar with that one. But it was a good show. It was at the Red Stadium, and so there was a lot of people there.
Right. Were people well behaved?
They were. Yeah. I mean,
so does Green Day close, or is it Green Day then Smashing Pumpkins?
Oh no, it's definitely Green Day. Like Green Day plays for like 2 hours, and Smashing Pumpkin plays like for 45 minutes or something.
Oh, okay. So it's Smashing Pumpkins. They just play the hits, and
they just play the hits, and then a couple of the like the newer songs. You're like, no one, Billy.
I did have to pee. Thanks, song. Billy.
Right? Come on, Billy. Like, yeah, show. Like they played all the hits. They did not play their cover of Landslide. That was like the only one. I'm like, oh, okay, that was their one radio song that they didn't play. But you got your share of rock, and
they have to pay Stevie Nicks whenever they play Landslide in concert. So they're probably like, screw that.
Right. But I don't know. Billy Corgan, he seemed like he wanted to be there. Cool. He dedicated a song to Joey Votto, so he knew where he was at. He was singing all the lyrics. Didn't seem angry. So.
He has some funny TikToks. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hey, he's got a medical condition.
Yes, he does. He also has some funny TikToks.
Yeah. And then Rancid played like
he
5
does.
songs.
He has like rosacea or something like that. So the skin condition.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rancid played like 5 or 6 songs because their songs are only like 2 minutes each. And those are very clear. Like they had their hits as well, right? Like
they're Ruby Soho. Is that Rancid?
That's Rancid. Ruby Soho, and Time Bomb.
No, that's Real Big Fish, right?
Sellout's Real Big Fish.
Sellout's Real Big Fish. Sorry.
Yeah. They had Time Bomb, Ruby Soho, and one other one that I'm forgetting, where they could clearly like write like hit songs, and they knew how to write hit songs. But then the rest of their stuff is just like the music they like to play. That's like not got real strong like chorus or anything to it. And I'm like, oh, I respect that. They made their living on like these 3 songs. They sold 1 million copies or whatever of Out Come the Wolves, and that was them, and they're still like touring to this day.
Why not?
Yeah,
I love the Wolves. Sorry. Wombat, have you heard of Bathhouse, the new bathhouse in the Flatiron District?
No, but I don't go into the city, so.
But you could. This could be an opportunity for you and your wife to have a nice experience. Click on that link there and look at the pictures.
I'm afraid.
What do you mean? No. They opened this nice bathhouse in the like the middle of the city that is like really modern inside. It reminds me of like something you'd see in Asia. Like you can pay like $50 and you can hang out there all day, and you know they have like the cold plunge, the hot pool, the super hot pool, the sea pool. You can get massages, shit like that. Mrs. Chibi likes that stuff, so she wanted to do it. And I was going to come into the city for something, so we went there. And we're hanging out in the... Did you look at the pictures?
I did. See, here's my problem with something like this.
Go on.
So it seems like I would have a nice relaxing afternoon if I were to do that.
But
I don't want to travel an hour on the Long Island Railroad, get relaxed, and then have to travel another hour on the Long Island Railroad, because then all the relaxation goes away.
No, but the key is you don't do it during rush hour. It's like if you have a day off or something, you can come in. You know, you take the train back at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's very relaxing. Nobody's like sitting next to you, all that shit. Anyway, did you see the pictures of it?
Yes, it looks very nice.
It looks very nice. So I went there with Mrs. Chibi, and we're sitting in like the hot pool, and I say to Mrs. Chibi, we should, let's sit on this side of the tub of the pool because we can do some good people watching. It'd be very interesting to see the people come in. It's like the middle of the day on like a Friday or something. And literally 10 seconds after I say that, this woman walks in with like the most insane body. A young woman, it looks like, and you look at the pictures in there, you see like the lighting in there, how it's like, it looks like you could film a movie in there. Like it's like, spotlighting, dark. This woman walks in and she's wearing like the teeniest bikini, like thong bikini, right? And literally it's right after I said we should sit here so we can people watch. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny. The woman walks over to like a bench to put her phone down or some shit. As she's doing it, she drops whatever she has in her hand. Like you can't really quite see, but she drops it underneath like the fucking chair. And so now she's completely bent over. She's wearing like literally like floss. The lighting, it's like Jessica Alba in like a Jessica Alba movie. Blue something. What was the surfing movie?
Sure, Blue Crush.
Right, Blue Crush. Right. I'm like, this is all happening like just, and the place is pretty empty. And I'm like thinking like, this is fucking crazy that this is happening right now. And I'm like looking at Mrs. Chibi. She's looking back at me and smiling. And I thought like this is just like some crazy thing that just wild happened. Anyway, so I've been thinking about this, like, of course, like since it happened, and thought it was like a really big deal. Right before we went on the show, I went to Mrs. Cheapy, like, do you remember when we saw the girl in the thong at the bathhouse and everything? And like how crazy it was when she bent over right in front of us? And she's like, what? I was like, what do you mean? Like, we looked at each other and like you saw like us smiling. She's like, oh yeah, like I didn't even like really think about it. I saw that you liked it, but like I really didn't, think anything of it. I was like, oh man. Anyway, you should go to bathhouse. That's the point. And sit where you can see people. But there's a lot of like people like me too, who you don't want to look at. So you don't have to feel like self-conscious,
Okay.
I'm very hairy. Like I don't want people. The lighting is low there, so if you don't want to be seen, you know,
you're more of the looker than the lookie.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help people out. Like, right? You know, like I'm not shaving my back.
People there at a place like that to be the lookers.
Correct.
That's part of the ambiance.
There's people who paid good money to have their backs shaved or waxed or whatever, and it wasn't me. So
right, you want to show that it was worth their money,
of course,
to have that done.
And I'll keep my back to the wall, and I will look at their hairless backs and bodies, and I'll stay in the dark part. They had the best shower that I've ever taken in my life, though. Have you ever been in a shower that has a touch screen to control the shower, where you can set the exact temperature and then also choose which fixtures the water is coming out of? They have like the rain one is the standard one, but they also have them built into the wall.
Okay.
So what is this?
They have them built into the wall. I'm not jerking off people standing next to me. No, they're actually on the same side, and you choose them on the touchscreen. And yeah, that was a good shower. I think like even if you just want to spend $50 to take the best shower you ever took in your life, you can have that option at this place. By the way, like I'm not getting paid for this at all. It's a reverse sponsorship again, where I've paid them money.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Bathhouse. If you want to see some like one hot chick. All right, let's do some show feedback. That's enough talking.
All right. Yeah. So this is because we did 2 shows. We dropped 2 shows at the same time. This is from our live show 800. MD Polaris had to say that the kids' cameo was awesome. No question that they are our kids in a good way. So, you know, it's nice to get complimented on our progeny, I guess.
They're saying they like the kids.
They like the kids.
They like us and the kids, our kids.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So
me too.
We did a good job with kids, maybe? I don't know.
I agree with everything positive. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe they'll do a show together at some point. They threatened to do that.
Yeah, maybe. It would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ty's busy,
you know.
Ty's busy applying to colleges and annoying me.
Yeah, I know. Because every now and again, my daughter will tell me that Ty gets back to her. It'll be like 5 days, and there'll be some random response to something that she sent him like 5 days prior.
Think how long it takes him to get back to me.
I know. I was going to say, and I know he likes her, so you know. Right.
Yeah, he's a lot more popular than I was. That's for sure.
It's fair.
He likes interacting with people. It's interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I hid in my room. I still do. And at the table tennis club.
My daughter plays a varsity sport, and my son just joined track. I don't know whose kids they are because I didn't do any of those things.
What's the other show feedback?
Sure. Oh, my mic just got all weird. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Got all staticky.
Puberty.
Mm-hmm.
Joe19912 has to say, watching GPD's patio fall was just the encouragement I needed to install another app. So worth it. I don't know what that means as far as what app he installed.
I said I posted it on Threads. It was a Threads exclusive.
Oh,
it was a little joke. But
I just wanted to see how you were feeling.
So. Oh, fine. I had my leg turned like a really cool shade of yellow and purple and blue. And the other one was just scraped up, but it didn't stop me from any of my physical activities.
Excellent. Good to hear. That's all. Just
Thank
checking
you for
in on your
about
health.
my injuries.
Yeah, that was it.
Speaking of the Fall Guy, I heard you watched the movie, Wombat.
That's a good segue. I can't even fault you on that one. I like the Fall Guy. We watched it. Elliot and I watched it together. It's a fun popcorn movie. There's some really good stunts in it. A lot of practical, like one of the things about it, because it's about stuntmen, is that they do all the stunts are practical stunts in the movie.
Yes, I remember the marketing for that movie revolved around like people beating each other up in public, like at events and things.
Yes,
like
so there's like no CG. They do a lot of making fun of CGI special effects. So
that's good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know. I think actually it did well on Rotten Tomatoes too. I know that's your barometer.
Did it make money?
GP. It didn't. It was a big box office bomb, which is kind of a surprise, I guess.
It's hard to get people to go to the movies right now, and I don't think like rehash. I mean, what do you call this? Rebooting a fucking TV show from the 80s is the way to go.
Yeah. Does it have a song?
Okay. So during the end credits, they have the song. It's sung by the guy Blake Shelton.
Sounds
Blake Shelton sings it.
Okay.
And I mean, look, this is something that only I'm going to pick up on, but I had to check it to make sure I wasn't crazy. They changed the lyrics.
Ooh, doesn't talk about Farrah Fawcett anymore? Doesn't talk about Farrah Fawcett anymore.
It does not.
Okay.
It takes out all the names. It takes out all the names.
The whole song is just name drops.
I know. They take out all the names.
Well, the song is about
Robert Redford.
The song is about the women that the stuntman fucked, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, Lee Majors was married to Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like it's supposed to be like a wink to the audience that
I'm an asshole.
But yeah. But I'm the unknown stuntman.
But I fucked all these hot chicks.
Yeah. Right. But he dropped all the.
Right. That's fine.
All the name drops are out, and they changed the lyrics, and the lyrics aren't as good. Also, to be honest, it just doesn't sound right coming out of Blake Shelton. I don't know why Lee Majors' voice against that song just works better for some reason. But I don't know. Yeah, that was to me a bummer. I know we're talking about the end credits, which is kind of silly, but
that's
the movie itself. The movie itself is really good. Ryan Gosling, I don't know if you know this, he's very charming and charismatic. Did you know that about Ryan Gosling?
I did.
Yeah.
Except in Drive.
Except in he's charismatic.
He's charismatic.
Yeah. And for a little while, and then you're like, what am I even watching here? This guy's fucking weirdo.
You know, he's got screen juice. You know, he shows up. You're like, you can't look away.
I enjoyed him in the movie with Steve Carell. The
yeah.
I forgot what it's called though.
Yes.
Crazy Stupid Love, perhaps?
Crazy Stupid Love, that's it. Yes.
Yes.
I like The Nice Guys a lot. I'm a huge fan of that movie. And this is reminiscent of The Nice Guys, like the way that he acts. And oh God, what's the guy's name? The guy from Black Panther, who plays the king of the gorilla king.
Nobody knows that.
Is he the guy from the other? Is Winston Duke? Winston Duke is in it too. He's like his friend, his buddy.
I know the guy, but they're not going to pull Winston Duke out of anywhere.
They act well together in this movie as well.
Good.
They have
good. That's their job.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, watch that or watch The Nice Guys if you haven't seen that. That's a great movie.
Okay.
I'll watch Fall Guy. It's on the list.
You'll like it.
I'll like that one.
Is that free somewhere yet?
It's on Peacock.
Oh, I gotta cancel that shit.
Yep, it's on Peacock.
I watched something on there as well.
What'd you watch on Peacock?
But we were sitting down and I was like, hey, let's watch Borderlands because it's available to
gotta pay
watch
for
digitally. It. And then that was the problem. Yeah. Mrs. Shipwreck said, we're not paying $20 for this.
And I'm not giving Randy Pitch for $3.
Right. And so I went, well, let's see what's on Peacock. So we watched The Incredible Weight of Massive Talent. The Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal.
Yep. I watched that on an airplane.
Did you like? I can't remember.
Yeah,
did you like it?
Good airplane movie.
I think it's a solid movie. I enjoyed watching it at home as well.
Sure. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a comedy, but it leans towards the darker side of comedy like throughout, but it's well written. Nicolas Cage is fun in it.
It's like a comedy thriller, I would say.
Yeah. It's got all your favorite actors from the After Party. They're in there.
It comes to set.
Yep.
You got a discount.
Yep. But yeah, that's a good movie. It's a like Pedro Pascal, like pretty much carries the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
he's doing a lot of heavy lifting in that movie.
He's an obscene amount of heavy lift. Like Nicolas Cage is good in it as well.
But he can't be too crazy because he's got to be the real Nicolas Cage. And
right.
So you have to be sort of realistic. And
right.
So Pedro's got to be.
It's a subdued Nicolas Cage in this movie.
Yes, until he probably has. I think he pops off at some point, probably. But I don't know. I don't remember. Who remembers? That's cool.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of good stuff on TV that I can recommend even to you guys.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. We watched the entire series of Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War, which is on Netflix.
I was going to watch that. Is it any good? Is it worth my time?
Well, first of all, the answer is yes. It's excellent. Have you seen the 1990s movie Tombstone? Starring Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer as legendary.
Yes, I am your Huckleberry.
Okay,
I've seen that movie.
So if you've seen Tombstone and enjoyed it, you're going to like this even more because what makes the true story of Wyatt Earp and the shootout of the OK Corral and Ike Clanton and the Cowboys, the true story is way more interesting than what they show you in Tombstone, because Tombstone, they have 2 hours. You can't make it too complicated. There's all these characters and they got a lot of good lines. But the actual story is like complex politically. It involves like big business, North versus South. Is Wyatt Earp like a criminal? All kinds of like fake news. It's really interesting. And the way they do this documentary, it's a documentary, but they have actors saying lines throughout it. So it switches between talking heads and dramatization. But the actors that they use during the dramatization are very good, convincing. It's Ed Harris is the narrator. Very good. Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War. I don't want to spoil anything because there's actually a lot of surprises in there. And like I said, if you've watched Tombstone, you're going to be like, why did they not put this in Tombstone? This is way fucking more interesting.
No, I wanted to watch it and then I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
And then,
It's on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah, I know my wife's not going to watch that. So it's like a thing I have to watch on my own, which is fine.
Mrs. Chibi was really into it somehow. And she does not like Western shit at all somehow.
Not even Young Guns?
I'm not sure. I did get her to watch some of the Quick and the Dead the other day. She's stuck in there.
That's a good movie.
I know. I love that.
I don't really like Westerns all that much either, except the ones that I find really good. Right? I'm not just going to watch.
What does that even mean? So
I don't know.
Which ones do you find really
there's
good?
a lot of bad Westerns. Like they just
there
made
are a
so
lot of
many.
Bad Westerns.
There's so many bad ones.
But there's a lot of good ones too.
I feel like they just happen to be set in the West. Like I'm not looking for a Western. It's just like happens to be there and it's a good movie.
Unforgiven. You've seen Unforgiven?
That's a good one.
All right. But that's a Western. That's like so Western. It's not just a movie that takes place in the West. There's like lore. And
Did you see True Grit? Either version?
No.
The old one.
Looks good.
The old one I have.
I actually like the newer one a little bit better. I think it ages better, maybe. Could be biased.
All right. Well, watch Wyatt Earp Wombat so we can talk about it because it is interesting. Shipwreck, you're probably not going to watch it, but you might.
I like Tombstone.
Yeah. If you like Tombstone, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, what were they doing? We also started watching Lord of the Rings because season 2 started. Wombat, why are you not watching Lord of the Rings? You're a big nerd.
I don't know. I remember starting the first season and then I just was like, and then I just got.
It's pretty good. Like the second season, it's just more Lord of the Rings, and if you liked Lord of the Rings, you're gonna like this. Like it looks.
Are these like original stories?
It takes place long before the Lord of the Rings movies or books, rather. So it takes place before Hobbit and all that stuff. So it's the Rings of Power from the beginning. I don't know. It's interesting, and it's not that hard to follow, which I can appreciate. And this second season seems. I don't know. It's just like the same story, but with different. You get to see like Sauron from the beginning and stuff like that. And that's good. I don't know. You like Lord of the Rings, you're gonna like it. We also started watching the new Terminator Zero anime that's on Netflix. Do you like Terminator? The robot?
Some of it.
Okay. How about in short bursts of like 22 minutes or so in Japanese?
I'm probably not going to watch this.
It's good though.
To be honest.
We only watched the first episode and it was solid. We're going to probably we'll watch more of it. But it's, Netflix has been putting out these anime versions of popular franchises and they've been pretty good. Not just Netflix. They got that Suicide Squad one. That's good. All right. We also finished watching the entire first season of Sunny, which just finished up this week, which is on Apple TV. Big recommend on that. I've talked about it a lot. Also, the second episode of Chimp Crazy came out on Netflix, and now I can give that my full-throated recommendation. As good or better.
Never gonna happen.
Why?
Because I can't. Chimps freak me out. I'm not.
Wait,
doing
what?
It.
Chimps freak you out? Wait a minute.
Chimps with humans. I know what happens when chimps get around humans.
No.
I'm not watching that.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. It's not about that. Well, it is. Okay. It is about that.
We already discussed this last week. It's never gonna happen.
But it's not. It's more about, how like Tiger King was about these people who are just so weird with animals. They can't not keep tigers. They can't not keep chimps, even though it's causing them so much trouble and legal action. They just can't not.
Someone's gonna lose a face.
That happened already.
That. Yeah, I'm not watching that.
But that happened. We know in the news that happened already. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's mentioned.
I'm not watching it. There's no way I'm gonna watch that.
You just cover your eyes when they talk about that part.
No, not gonna happen.
Well, it's really good. It's very well put together. And
you haven't watched Only Murders in the Building? You didn't?
Yes.
Have you ever? Yes.
Yes, we watched the first episode of that.
That was very good. That first episode was a really good first episode.
They're all good.
I know they're all good, but as getting your hooks in for the season, they did a really good job with that episode.
But where's Kumail? Where's Kumail?
Coming up, I guess.
He's in it.
I know.
All right. That's all I've been watching. There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the Minecraft trailer or teaser. Did you watch it?
Bad. That looks so bad.
Is that Aquaman?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he wearing like a dress or something?
People keep asking that question. I don't know. I don't work for Jason Momoa.
Okay. Is he woke? Is that a woke outfit?
It's because he's woke.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Christian wrote in and he says, "Can you envision a good version of the Minecraft movie?" Not really.
I mean, it just has
not after watching that.
It just has to get the kids in the theater, right?
Well, good. He's thinking. I don't think he says make a version that makes money. I think a version where you watch that trailer and go, "Oh, that looks good."
Right. I think they're making a movie to make money. Is my guess here.
Yes, of course. But I'm just answering Christian's question, and the answer is no. I can't envision a good one. I mean, the Minecraft has no story, right? There's zombies.
They've got different versions of it that have stories.
Okay.
But yeah, very, very loose lore, I would say.
And when Jack Black appears in the trailer.
Oh no, I haven't seen the trailer yet.
You have to watch it.
It's a teaser. It's not a trailer. It's a teaser.
It's a teaser to a trailer, but there's enough there where you're like, really?
Where you're like, I don't want to see anymore. But Jack Black. Is that why Jack Black had to break up Tenacious D because this movie was coming out?
He's got a bunch out. Right.
Well, what's the one that
he's got Kung Fu Panda 4 coming?
Okay, that's the bigger one. Is that a Disney one? That's
a DreamWorks.
DreamWorks, yeah,
but that is a big one.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you think?
And he had a Borderlands as well.
But you think he cares about that? He's not like the star of that one. He's just like
he's Claptrap. Who else is the star of that movie?
Kevin Hart, and I don't know. I feel like they don't care. That's Randy Pitchford's crew. They're wild and crazy. They don't care if you like.
No. It was most likely because of Kung Fu Panda.
Right, 4. That makes sense. Do you think for sure the Tenacious D will get back together?
There'll be a reunion tour.
Yes,
I'm
sure.
Yeah.
Right. Once as soon as that movie gets to video,
right
out of the theaters.
Yeah.
All right. Should we do some new releases?
Yes, because there's the obviously big one we need to talk about.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So our good friends at Ubisoft provided review codes for Star Wars Outlaws.
Yep,
to
our
myself,
former good friends. No, sorry.
To myself and my good friend Shipwreck. I'm not sure how far along you got into Outlaws.
I think we're probably about 7 hours in.
Okay, I might be like at the 10-ish range myself. So, put in a pretty good amount of time. I've never been more conflicted on my thoughts and feelings in a video game in a very long time, where it's like for everything this game does really right for a Star Wars game, then they do something and I'm like, why did they do that? And it's this weird balancing act where it's like if they lean, like there's a world, the Star Wars world that they build here that you live in this game is really good. And it's engaging and I want to learn more about it. And
there's a Wookiee right there.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as I start talking, that's the decision to let them out. It's really good, really interesting world building, really interesting stuff going on in this game. That you're playing as a girl who
has a big chin.
Jan Solo.
Jan Solo. What is her name, Martin? You made me forget as you said that. Yeah.
But Jan Solo, I'm positive of it. You don't
not Jan Solo, but it might as well be. You're like a smuggler.
I like that you don't know the name and you're 10 hours in.
No, I did, and then Shipwreck said the other name, and it went right out of my head.
She has the exact same outfit too.
Isn't it like something vest?
Vest Solo?
No, stop it.
Vest. Black vest.
Nuts. Driving me nuts.
Black Vestella, I think it is. Blastella.
Stop it. Anyway.
The combat looks bad. Is the combat bad?
That's the big problem with the game.
That's a big problem.
The big problem with the game is that the combat is terrible because there's barely any combat. It's all stealth. And
I don't like that.
The stealth is not good.
No, and the stealth gets K Vess. Thank you, Dizzy Death.
No, that's not
that is her name. Is K Vess. Yes,
not a name.
Like it's something Vess. So I'm glad I was half right. She
earned that name because she wears a vest.
Yeah,
exactly.
She goes through a checkpoint early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she didn't have a last name. She didn't have a last name.
She didn't have a last name.
Where's your ID? What's your name?
And then the Imperial officer goes, "Hey, Vess."
Yep.
And then let her through.
He had a lisp,
Right.
Exactly. But well, that's also you mentioned the square head. That's another weird thing.
It's strange. Like there's such a weird thing to be looking at. The art styles are clashing or something.
The art style of the main character is different than the art style of the rest of the game. And I said this to you in a chat. It's if you've watched Star Wars Rebels, the Star Wars animated shows, the Dave Filoni Star Wars animated stuff, K Vess is animated in that style.
But no one else is?
With more like, I don't know. It looks more realistic.
More details.
There are details than that.
A little bit more details. But everyone else in the game is like just in a video game. They don't have like an art style to them.
Right. Like here's a stormtrooper. It looks exactly like a stormtrooper.
Like a stormtrooper. Yeah. They didn't.
So she's stylized, but nobody else is.
No one else is.
Kind of stylized. It's weird. Like, and there's some like weird filters. You can turn them on and off. It's got like kind of like the Mass Effect graininess setting that you can have on there.
But but her face stands out. It does. It stands out, and it only stands out because because of the juxtaposition against everyone else. Where if everyone else was that, like, not only that, but I think if they did go for that kind of Rebels art style, it might have worked. I think it could have been cool for this game if they did it for everybody.
Right.
It would be something a little different, but I also understand why they wouldn't want to do that because this is Ubi's first big attempt at a Star Wars game. And they don't want to be like, and look, it's a different art style. We're doing whatever we want. I get it.
So but just for the main character, they're like, we'll just do it for the main character.
It's like maybe they wanted to do it and they changed it late, but they didn't have enough time to change. I don't know.
They could fix that with a patch. They could round her head out.
Something. They kind of, because it is a little distracting. Yeah. But again, there's a lot of good in this game in the sense, with like, oh, I want to finish fixing my ship and see and fly more into outer space and find the Imperials and, get to the top of this faction and get all the perks I get for being at the top of this faction. And, I want to take down the Hutts and I want to, all of these things that you can do that are very Star Warsy. They put it at a really good spot in the timeline of Star Wars between A New Hope and Empire. So
is there space combat?
There is space combat.
Is it good?
It's okay. I've only done it like twice maybe. So yeah, again, it's mostly the stealth thing where it's like, okay, thanks for getting this thing for me. All right, now we need you to go back to that same spot again and sneak around.
And you're driving your like space motorcycle around a lot.
You have a space motorcycle that you could drive around in the big open.
And they look kind of like, I watched the video on YouTube of somebody playing for hours.
The controls of driving is not so great.
It didn't look fun just driving it through a desert. Like you're just driving a rickety space bike.
That's a lot of the game. It's not all that fun, but it is a good universe, and there's stuff to do.
Can you kill Jawas?
I don't think I've encountered any Jawas.
What?
We're 7 hours in or so, but I mean, Dash is the one doing the majority of the playing.
Got it.
So I have not seen all 7 hours that we've played. So there might have been Jawas at some point.
I haven't seen any Jawas.
Yeah, I have not seen any.
They're not on Tatooine, so.
Right.
Oh.
But you do have a space axolotl as a pet. You can just say like, go steal that stuff or distract that person.
Which is helpful.
Because that's the gameplay.
That is literally the game.
That is literally the gameplay. It's
I don't want
space axolotl. Go and distract that guard so I can hide in this tall grass that is somehow grown inside this industrial complex.
Yes, you'll be inside
just so I can sneak around.
And there'll be grass in there.
So they didn't have to make old desks or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had to bump it down to easy due to the stealth because it just wasn't fun. Like we were just playing the same thing over and over again. And you have to kind of like feel your way out of where you're supposed to go because there's not a lot of like cues. And early in the game, you don't have that many gadgets or anything to like really work through. So anytime somebody sees you, you're pretty much caught. Unless you bump it down on easy and then you get through the stealth and you're fine.
And the stealth would be okay if it was like every 5th mission or something like that. Like if it wasn't everything, it would be fine. But the problem is that it's everything. So it's, it's like, oh, you finally fixed your spaceship. Good job. Now we need you to fly into outer space and go to this Imperial base. I'm like, all right, now shit's about to get real. I'm going to fight some Imperials. I'm going to, all right, don't let anyone see you in there. Oh, man.
But I have a blaster. Like, and there are like areas where like you shoot people for a little while, particularly like
it sucks,
they might be,
right?
It's okay.
Worse than Uncharted shooting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Then
but I mean, it's when it's compared to the stealth stuff, you're pretty happy to be shooting people.
I get that. Sure.
And I think part of it was they didn't want this to be a game where it's like, okay, and now you're gonna just go and it takes place in the Star Wars universe where you're this person who kills 120 people. I hope you like murdering 120 people because that's what this game is. Because in Star Wars, it doesn't really work like it would in in other video games, kind of. So I get what
it's a video game though. Like at the end of the day, it's a video game.
But at the end of the day, it's a video game. So it's like, should they've just made everyone robots? I don't know what would have been
gotta
better.
die in Star Wars too.
Yeah.
Somebody's murdering people in Star Wars.
When you're up against Imperials, it works. But when it's like, okay, you got to sneak into, this guy's apartment. Yeah, I don't know.
Oops, I killed him.
Yeah.
Well, it's surprising to me that Star Wars, such a big franchise, and like this is such a big game. I'm sure it cost quite a lot to make it. And they put so much market research into these, right? This like they don't leave much up to chance. These, especially with like a big project like this. Like stealth was what the feedback was telling them. The gamers want more stealth in their games. Like that seems like a very weird move to me. I don't understand like where they got that information from. That stealth is what we were looking for in 2020. I know everything's cyclical and all that shit, but like
that's the most confounding thing is who made that decision? Because it had to have been early on. This idea of we're gonna have the first open world real Star Wars game where you're playing as a character with interesting decisions and a really top-notch storyline, and it's stealth.
Mostly stealth. It's mostly stealth.
It's gonna be stealth. It's gonna be the least popular type of combat in video games, and we're gonna put it in Star Wars.
It's weird. Very weird, right?
It's very weird.
Do we get some like space combat escort missions too? Can we have some of those?
Right?
I don't know. Like it's not bad though. Like
but that's it. It's not bad. It's just not what you want. And that's sort of the problem. It's like, this isn't bad. It's not what I want, but it's not bad. It's like what I want. You tell me open world Star Wars. I think they didn't want you to play this game and be like, oh, this is like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This is Assassin's Creed Star Wars. And they wanted it to not be that. But by making it not that, they made it worse. Where if they had just made it Assassin's Creed Star Wars, where you went around and you had a stick and you beat the crap out of people, that would have worked.
I'm sure there's plenty of outlaws in the Star Wars universe that are murdering people, and you could be one of those people.
Yeah.
I feel like we're the outlaw with a heart. It feels like.
That don't put asses in seats, though. The outlaw with a heart.
That's the whole thing. It's like they want you to be this sort of good guy character.
Yeah, that works in 1977, right?
That's why they named her Jan Solo.
That's why they named her Jan Solo.
It's not 1977 anymore. There's a lot of assholes on TikTok that are making millions of dollars. So at least we can be a murdering Star Wars person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think they may have had to like try to differentiate it between the other Star Wars games that I'm forgetting the name of with Jaden.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah,
those games like the more action
the EA
Jedi.
Ones?
Yeah, the EA ones, because those are.
But they're not open world. And
they're not open world, but sort of the kind of
are, but not.
But that's all lightsaber and force combat. They could have made this all blaster and gadgets. Like they could have done that, and that would.
Could they have made it Mass Effect?
They could have basically. They should have just.
It's not that far off from like I'm playing it, going like. This feels a little Mass Effect-y. Like they could have leaned into the RPG elements even further than what they have. Because you're having all these like interesting conversations and like you have all the different factions you're trying to do stuff with. And I don't know. It's almost there. They almost did it.
Imagine if the reviews came out and said it was Star Wars Mass Effect. Like that's gonna sell a lot of copies.
Right.
Finally a successor to Mass Effect, and it's Star Wars. That's a headline. People would go nuts for that. Mm-hmm.
They blew it. It's almost like these gaming executives don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Again and again, these big, huge
getting
projects.
In their own way. They're just getting in their own way.
This one, I can't even figure it out because you can see how like they make the mistakes with, okay, we need a games of service, whatever's trendy now, but like what was right? Like they thought it was coming back, and like you know what? And if it's one thing, if like their stealth system was somehow innovative, like Splinter Cell came out, and they got the shadows and all those meters.
Yeah,
and
you don't have thermal goggles or anything like that in this. No, there's no innovation to it.
It's hiding in grass, right?
Yeah, it's ducking.
It's ducking behind things and then
waiting for the guy to walk past you. and then walking in the other direction.
Right.
It's
or if there's two guys, you're like, oh, I guess I have to figure out how to split up these two guys, and then you send out your axolotl and we like make one of them come over to you, and you knock him out, and then the other guy's like, huh.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened, and then you figure out how to get around that guy.
Which Star Wars movie did that happen in? None,
that happens
right?
in episode 1.
It's not like there's a lot of stealth in Star Wars either.
There is no stealth in Star Wars.
There's some stealth in episode 1.
I mean, I guess when they go into the Death Star.
That's not the part that's not the part that's putting asses in seats.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? Where are we here? We had Wombat's fortnightly news.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I'm playing something else, but it's not technically a new release this week. So, but I think I could talk about it.
You can do it.
I only played like an hour of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
What is that?
Okay.
That's the new Warhammer game that came out that everyone seems to be raving about. Like I said, I'm only like an hour in because
what
I got
type of game
today.
is it?
It is a third-person shooter in the Warhammer universe. I believe it is co-op as well. And so you're an oversized Space Marine with a chainsaw sword and some guns, and you got to kill a lot of bugs.
Right.
So far, that's what.
So it's the new Helldivers?
I was gonna say it's more like Gears of War, but yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, but it's pretty good so far. Actually, it's.
There, I posted a screenshot of it for you, GP. On the
Holy
outline.
shit! It's Gears of War. Are they using Unreal Engine?
I think so. I'm not sure.
It looks pretty good. Is this like?
Yeah, it looks great.
Now?
It's out in like 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, they sent me a code, but people seem to be really liking it. And like I said, I'm still I just started the first mission because I got
a lot of rolling
right before the show. You do have to do a lot of dodging. And
the running. What do they call the running? There was a name for that running.
Yeah, no, it's not quite the same thing.
What was that?
So far, I'm just saying, so far so good. This is a teaser for when I've played more next week. So
it's bothering me now that I can't come up with the running.
The running, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's the running called in Gears of War? Roadie Run. Remember that? Roadie,
yep.
Good old Roadie Run. Star Wars should have had that.
Star Wars should have had a lot
curb stomping those stormtroopers. That would be good. Better than stealth. All right, let's do your
one trooper.
Let's do fortnightly news.
Okay. Still the Marvel season going on in Fortnite. Not much Fortnite news, to be honest. It's just the thing that's happening.
I have a confession to make.
Sure.
I just farted.
Nice.
Okay. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, just Fortnite Marvel. It's a decent season. Dr. Doom was unlockable as of today. Yeah.
Do you have him?
I got him this. Yeah, I got him this morning.
Did you wake up early to get him?
Kinda.
Did you set the alarm?
No.
Doom o'clock?
No, I haven't slept. I honestly haven't slept in like 3 days.
What?
But not because of this though.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. I know I don't want to be a downer.
Oh.
But yeah. It's good. It's a good season. I actually like it's very Fortnite-y this season. Even with all the weird Marvel weapons, it's not as unusual as last season was. It's a little more straightforward. They're also very generous with XP this season. So
right. You like that?
I do like that. I do like my XP. I like finishing out that battle pass.
The big news, I guess, this week is that Sony launched and unlaunched Concord, their team-based shooter that was released for PlayStation and for PC. That's basically like, it looked like Overwatch.
No, it was
pretty much Overwatch. Look, it's supposed to be good, but nobody was playing it. And
I played the beta.
Well, I didn't mean literally nobody was playing.
I know. I'm just saying I played the beta.
It was pretty close.
It was pretty close. Yeah, they did. They really, basically nobody on Steam was playing it. And they sold, I think, 20,000 copies on PlayStation, estimated. So they're doing a multiverses, and they're taking it back. They're giving refunds and taking it offline, and they're gonna apparently relaunch it, or maybe not. I mean, they say they are, but can you come back from that? Like, you're gonna come back. The only way is to come back as free to play, obviously.
I mean, can you come back from that? I think it is possible. Yes, we've actually seen it more than once. So yes, they can No Man's Sky it and have a comeback for the ages. It is a very much a possible thing, as much as we all want to be say, oh, let's shit on everything.
I don't want to do that.
Is it possible for them to come back? It is 100% possible for them to come back. Is it likely? That's a different question. But it is. I do think it's possible. I don't ask me what they need to do. I don't like these types of games. The Overwatch style of game, it's not for me. So I don't know, make it a completely different type of game.
Well,
but then again, that's the Fortnite thing. That's what they did. They came back and said, "Oh yeah, this game that we released a month ago that no one's playing anymore, now it's a completely different thing. It's now Battle Royale." And that changed video games forever.
So you're saying Concord's going to come back as like battle chess?
Maybe there's just something that we just don't know what it could be, and it comes back and says, "Okay, we still got this there, the thing that it was originally, but now we also got this thing in there." I don't know what the other thing is. Maybe it's also in something. I don't know.
When they took Multiverse back, that was a game that you were supposed to pay for, and then they took it back and they relaunched it as free to play. Is that what happened?
I don't think
it was a beta. It was a beta, always... and then they moved back the launch day. They said, "Okay,
Correct,
we're gonna take the beta down and not launch, and then we'll be back."
It was like a year or so, right?
It was like a year.
Yeah.
But they had that beta for a really long time. Then again, Fortnite was in beta for 3 years, so.
I feel like this game, like Concord, is a more expensive endeavor than Multiverses.
Yes, probably.
It looked expensive, and they had all this like story content planned for it with weekly videos, like CG videos, which probably like expensive to put together. I wonder like if it even comes back at all.
I mean, that's the other option is like, what's the tax write-off?
Right.
Like, what can you get in your taxes that'll balance it out? Is it more profitable to Batgirl it?
I just think it's so hard to put out a game like this,
yes.
a team-based shooter now that you're going to steal people away from.
Well, that's my other question. Is there a team-based shooter that people are still playing in numbers that are significant?
Well, I think, the ones that are like Rainbow Six, they probably still play that. Overwatch still has an audience, although it's not as big as it used to be. Valorant is probably pretty big now.
No, that's right. That one's pretty good. Right?
I just don't know how. I don't think like gaming can support too many of those. Like, there's just a certain, like you said, like Wombat is not going to play that game. No matter what it looks like, no matter what they call it, no matter what universe it takes place in, even the fucking Marvel one, Wombat was like, "I'm not fucking playing this." So there's going to be a lot of gamers like that, just not interested in a competitive team-based shooter, no matter what it is, right? Yeah. And just like Battle Royale, like those people are just only a certain number of people are interested in that type of game, and they're already playing other games that are of that genre. So it's really tough to get those people to switch, and there are a limited amount of them.
Especially because we're so deep into that type of game.
Right.
I don't know how, if you release a Battle Royale game now, what could you do that would drive people away from a Fortnite or a Warzone? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if anything exists, because those are the only two, for
Apex
good or bad, those are the only two you need.
Apex still makes money, I'm sure.
And Apex, I guess. Yeah, well, they sort of, but that's not what it once was. I think Warzone sort of took away a lot of that.
Call of Duty is Call of Duty.
And Call of Duty is Call of Duty. But, basically it's a Do you like your first person or your third person? There's a better. Do you like your realistic? Do you like your cartoonish? There's something for everybody. Although those two lines have been blurred with realistic and cartoony both ways, because there's some crazy skins in Call of Duty and.
Right, I saw some in the beta. Actually, I was playing the beta. The Call of Duty 6 beta is out now. Well, it was out over the weekend, and it's coming back, I think, tomorrow. I played a bunch of it. It's more Call of Duty. They have this new running now. It's called Omni Movement. You can sprint sideways now, Ship. Did you know about the sprinting sideways technology?
I have heard of it, yes.
And you can dive. You can now do like John Woo moves where you like run off a ledge, dive, and like spin in the air and shoot people like while you're falling.
I've seen some clips of that. Yes.
Right. I'm not too good at that or anything.
Okay.
I'm finishing in the the bottom half pretty much on the leaderboard. I don't know. It's on Game Pass. I'm gonna play it because it's free, or it's included in my plan. So I don't know.
Been playing a lot of Halo.
Yeah.
But that's what we've been playing. Yes.
Just the original?
No, we've been playing
all
Halo Infinite. So
really?
Not the multiplayer.
Oh, the single
just
player.
The co-op single player.
It's fun for the family.
Or co-op, I guess, campaign. Yeah. We're gonna finish that pretty quickly though, I think. So
it's short.
Did they ever do anything with that single player, or is it still the same as it was when it launched?
Still the same, I believe. I never got all the way through it to begin with, because you get to that mission where it's like, oh, and now we've got these 4 towers we need you to go do, and they are all over the map, right? Like, so you're pretty much been going like your way around the map, like pretty like systematically, and then it gets to this and you're like, wait, like you want me to just like go to every corner here?
You're getting me to waste time is what you're
right,
getting me to do.
Just like hit a switch basically at these 4 towers.
Right. So the reviewers say the game is 8 hours long instead of 6.5.
So I mean, Dash and I are enjoying playing it, but at the same time, he's like, why'd they do this?
I remember when the reviews came out for that, and I played it, and I was like, what are these guys? Are they playing a different game? Like, this is like really a bare bones single player experience, even for Halo. Like, this is just same old Halo. Like,
well, it was, and it's different than same old Halo because it's not as scripted and the levels aren't as like well designed.
Right.
So they've given you this
goosey Halo.
Yeah, it's loosey goosey Halo that's supposed to be like this larger world, but then like as you're playing through it, you're like, oh, this really isn't that big of a world. And then like every time you get on like one of those bases that you capture, the forward operating bases, it's like, hey, do you want a vehicle? And I'm like, not really, because the terrain is pretty much all up and down, and you give me a grappling hook. So driving around this Warthog is not really gonna do much for me.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. We've talked about it a lot, but still don't know what they're doing over there with Halo. Like,
the only redemption,
still pretty fun to play.
Sure, it's Halo. I mean, Halo's great, but when the next Xbox comes out, they need to put out Halo Forever. That's what they need to call it. And we can all be excited that it might be good. Right? And Master Chief can have nipples.
Okay. Now I'm on board.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. By the way, a couple of other games, because we were talking about this. I would say Ghost Recon Wildlands is a game that sort of revamped itself, because it became a much different game than it was when it launched, and when it fixed itself, it became a great game. And Destiny was another one that had a big overhaul during its
but it was a success right out of the gate too.
That was a success out of the gate, yes.
And then it died off a little bit, and then they came back again.
Yes.
But
then it died off again.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that it is possible for a game to completely reinvent itself after the game has come out.
I just
Could
wonder.
They just reinvent this as Killzone? Is that a possibility? Killzone was pretty good. I remember Killzone. Those were good games.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
They don't make those anymore.
They don't.
Because Battlefield. They're competing with Battlefield, and maybe it's going to cost a lot of money. Maybe they don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, they had some interesting characters in Concord. I just don't know.
I saw your thread about the trans character.
Oh my God.
So much. You don't write trans in your thread. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of people.
First of all, I thought I was just being funny. Like it was literally supposed to be just like a joke. Like I thought it was a funny joke.
You have to realize people just search trans so they can find, yell at you. Or
for those who don't know, Concord had a character in the game that was mocapped and voiced by a trans actor. And the character in the game was also supposed to be trans. And it's one of the first games to ever do that. And it was done by a Sony first party game. So it's kind of a big deal for the LGBTQ plus community. Which is great. Why not? It's always good to be inclusive. And I thought it was funny that the day that they announced that they were pulling this game was also the same day that they announced that Quidditch was the free game of the month, knowing how the creator of Quidditch feels about trans people. So I made a just saying, like, maybe you should have waited a day to pull Concord instead of doing it on the same day that you announced the J.K. Rowling game.
Right.
I thought it was funny. I posted it on Threads where I've never had anything viewed by more than 100 people. The last time I looked at it, it was like 25,000 people had looked at my thread.
Sick people who just are searching for terms so they can pile in.
There was like 300 comments and no one read what I wrote. It's all like, cry more. Oh, you're looking for politics and this thing. I'm like, no, I'm not saying they shouldn't have pulled the game. I'm just saying maybe they should have waited a day from a PR perspective.
I agree. You should cry more.
Oh my goodness. It's like, oh, there we go. Wait. Let's see.
Are you shitting yourself?
No, I want to see how many, what the activity is on this, because it's crazy. 37,546 views.
Did Mark Zuckerberg call you up and thank you for participating?
I mean, Jesus, it's like the fourth thing I ever posted on Threads too.
All right, well, congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm happy. Are you going to be posting more trans content? It seems to work.
I mean, 261 comments.
You should start posting stuff about Transformers, but just put a space.
Maybe it was Concord. Maybe it was just you were posting about Concord. That's drew all the crowds.
That's more people. More people saw that thread than bought Concord. Then bought the
game, and no one understood it. That's my favorite thing, is I posted it and no one understood it.
Wow.
But whatever.
Too bad you can't get paid for that type of engagement.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Should we move on to the CAG bag, or any other of these topics that you want to must talk about?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Rajago from the chat right here wants to know when or if the Long Island Retro video is coming out. I don't know. I'm waiting to find out about that myself. When I get it, we will send it. We will put it up. It's not like I have it and I'm keeping it from you because I'm doing other stuff. I just don't have it yet. Adam writes in and he asks, what kind of game do you think would get delisted or deleted by a company faster than Concord? I don't have an answer for this, but I just thought it was interesting that the Suicide Squad game is still hanging in there. Like, I don't even think it's had a sale yet. And if you look at like the Steam database thing, there's 73 people playing it right now on Steam.
That's more than I would have thought.
73?
It's more than I would have thought.
It's all time.
I think it had a pretty big sale on Xbox.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's still full price on Steam.
I remember seeing it. I don't know if it got down to $20. It might have been.
No, it did.
It got down to $20. Okay.
It did get down.
Yeah, it got down to $20. I'm like, still good.
I'm surprised. Like, when is that going to come down? That obviously has lost a lot of money. It has no chance of ever making it back.
I think the problem is because it's already been released for like a Warner Brothers. I don't think they can pull it and At this point, I don't think they could pull it and recoup the costs on.
Well, they'd have to give refunds
end.
for everyone, right?
Yeah, they'd have to issue refunds for everybody, and at this point, it's probably too late.
But they could stop making new content for it.
I think they have.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you're the expert. You finished it.
I never even got the Joker. The biggest problem, one of the biggest mistakes they made with that game wasn't just the game itself, which the game itself wasn't terrible.
Right.
The game itself
I think you're right on the money.
Yeah, I wouldn't backtrack.
I think you're right on the money. Yeah.
It's that then they were like, and we're going to release free characters, and then they released the Joker, and the hoops you had to go through to unlock the Joker, it would take like another 20 hours to get the Joker, and no one's going to do that. No one did it.
They should have been like, thank you for even considering like trying to unlock the Joker. How about you just do this fun, quick little thing, and then you can get it, and then maybe you'll even play the game more, and maybe buy
but
Joker's.
They literally did the opposite, and they were like, we're going to make it incredibly difficult to unlock the Joker, but if you want the Joker now, $20.
Right.
Yeah. They got greedy in a way that was laughably stupid.
Which is a big problem for all these companies. In fact, Blooper in the chat asks, why do companies continue to make the same games? Nintendo hasn't made any of these types of games, and they're more successful than everyone else. I think what happens is these companies, they see dollar signs.
Hold on a second. Why do all of these companies continue to make the same games? Nintendo doesn't do that.
I think
all Nintendo does is make the same games.
Right.
They just make the same Nintendo games.
Correct.
So they don't have to make other people's same games.
Correct.
That's why Nintendo is so successful, because Nintendo has their games and they'll just continue to make the same games.
Well, but gaming companies other gaming companies have been doing the same thing for a while too, right? They're just sort of remaking the same stuff. But now they're trying to go after these games that can have like these crazy returns, right? Like that was the point of the Suicide Squad game. It's like, oh, we can make this a games of service and maybe really make, because
they don't have a Warner Brothers wants to do that because Warner Brothers doesn't have a console. They don't have a corner. They're not Nintendo. They're not Nintendo.
They think
Nintendo doesn't need to do that because Nintendo is Nintendo.
They can grind it out by just putting out their character games that cost like them relative to these other games nothing to make,
and toys
and all the other stuff,
merchandise, and they don't need to do that. They could do it in other ways. They can sell amiibos and action figures
even these other companies are not looking for like the traditional dollar, right? They're not normally be like, oh, if we can sell 5 million copies of the game, 10 million copies of the game, that's going to be amazing. We're going to make so much money, but that's not good enough anymore. Now it's like, we need people to play this game forever.
Yeah, right. That's the difference.
We need to play it. They're going to be playing it forever and also give us $10 to $20 a month while they're playing it forever.
Because the problem is that there's the people that are going to play a game forever are already playing their game forever, and it's really hard to get someone away from the game that they've been playing for. But it's not as hard to get someone who's been playing the same game forever to take a break and play something else
that has a start and a finish.
I think Nintendo has they switched that though, and they have it. People are going to buy this game forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Every iteration of the game.
Every iteration of the game, everybody that buys a console, here's your Mario Kart, right? Like,
yep.
Everybody's going to buy the Mario Kart for like 10 years.
And you're going to take a break from Fortnite to play Mario Kart when your friends come over.
Right. But at the same time, like they don't oversaturate that, right? Like they make their games, but it's like, okay, like every 3 years, you're going to get like a Mario game, or like the other companies, like we've had one Halo game this entire generation, right? Like,
which is bananas.
We haven't had a Gears of War this generation.
Bananas. There hasn't even been a Fable.
There's not a Fable. Like, and it's the same on the Sony side too. Like we've had one God of War this generation, right? Like one God of War, Uncharted's gone. We've had like what
2 Horizons.
It just takes too long to make those games now. If it's going to take 5 years to make that game, you can really only get one per cycle.
But can't you downscope it to like only be like that game that needs to be alive for until the next one comes out?
Sure.
Like that's where they get the greediness comes in. If like, hey, if you put out a new Halo that is just like meant to be Halo for 2 years, you're going to get everybody to buy it.
Right.
They might not stick with it for that, like for eternity, but you're going to get everybody to buy it.
They may play it for a good month and then go back to Fortnite, but you got your month. Get your month. That should be the motto at these. Get your month. Even that, as Hogwarts Legacy was the best-selling game of that year. Yeah. It outsold everything. And that was a year where, that was peak Fortnite, peak Warzone, and peak, all of the Apex and peak Destiny. All those games were firing on all cylinders. But there was still room for, Elden Ring. These games that are, that are good, these single-player games, these Elden Rings will find a way if the games are good and if they're made and if they're not chasing something that already exists. It's not chasing the tail. It's not like, oh, we're going to release the new Fortnite when no one wants a new Fortnite because there already is a Fortnite. That's just fine. Don't make the new version of something that's already, Fortnite on an average weeknight, a school night, has 700 to 1 million concurrent players, 700,000 to 1 million concurrent players.
Those people aren't looking to learn a new competitive shooter that has like 30 different characters with
those
all different
numbers
abilities and shit.
Those numbers are insane numbers. And I'm not, I'm aware of that when I turn that game on. I'm like, the amount of people playing this right now is not normal. It's a lot of people.
Right. And that unfortunately, these executives think that like, oh, well, if Fortnite can do it, then we can have at least like a fraction of that success. Like, probably not. Not likely. Just make a regular game and have like a normal success. If you're lucky, sell 10 million copies and be really happy.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's not just video games. I mean, it's the same argument with the streaming wars and as well. This isn't the only industry where that's happening. You look at something like streaming and everyone is chasing the YouTube dragon. They think they're gonna get the viewership because YouTube is considered a streamer. And when you look at streaming revenue and streaming numbers, and it's like, oh, streaming is 75% of what people are watching. But what they don't tell you is that of that 75%, 65% of those viewers are YouTube viewers only, and they're not paying anything.
And they're watching 60-second clips about.
And they're watching, and Apple is spending, billions, and their viewership is less than 1% or something crazy like that.
And the crazy thing is those shows that Apple is putting out are really good. And I don't think people are watching the soccer one, but I feel like all these other shows, like, you don't even know about them. Like, there's so, like Foundation, Silo, like these shows look like they cost a fucking $1 billion to make, and nobody's watching them. And it's like, they're gonna stop making them, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. And then in games, it's the game, these legacy games, and people are keep playing them. Whether it be Zogtree mentions Minecraft, he also mentioned Roblox, Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, Warzone. These games just keep, even Destiny. People just keep playing them.
Well, we got the Assassin's Creed Samurai game coming out, right, this fall. Isn't that a traditional? It's a traditional game.
I will ask for that. I hope they send it. I hope, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, ask it for me too.
Okay.
Tell them that my wife is Japanese.
My issue with that is, and I've said this before, and this is a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is not.
You don't believe that there was ever a black samurai? I know you told me that. Like,
this is not not commentary on the genre as a whole. It's just my personal beliefs. I find samurais boring.
Oh. You should watch Shogun on Hulu. It wasn't boring.
I find them boring. There's just something about samurais that I'm like, I don't get it.
You don't like disembowelment? Come on, that's so cool.
I maybe it's the silly costumes. I don't know.
Silly? Those are cool. And the sword, and it goes ching. You know, ching.
I don't know. And I know that it's probably offensive to call them silly. So I apologize.
Yeah, it's racist, dude.
I don't know about that. Yeah. But
you said that Yasuke is a slave and not a samurai. Is what you told me before the show.
I just saying I just don't find samurais all that. Maybe this is the thing that turns me around. Maybe I'll play this.
Isn't there a ninja? Is a ninja side to this one or not?
There is a ninja. There is a ninja side too. I like ninjas. I don't love ninjas. It's just not my usual. I like Vikings more than samurais. That's just me.
And you like ninjas more than samurais too, right?
Yes, it's definitely. But I would say it might be samurais, ninjas, Vikings.
Samurai, ninjas, Vikings. Okay. Well, you already played the Viking one.
Yeah, I'm saying I really liked the Viking. Yeah, Viking one was good.
I don't know. Move over. Try this one. See how you like it.
I may put Native Americans though above Vikings.
Did they make that game yet? They made that game, right? Or no?
No, yes. they did. But
yes, that was the American Revolution one.
They should do it again.
Was that a PSP game or something?
No.
That was a full PS2, PS...
That was Assassin's Creed 3.
And you play a Native American in that?
I don't think the whole time.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
you
good.
start.
They should do that again.
You start like as a kid, right? Like a Native American kid. I remember I accidentally killed like George Washington.
Nice.
Stuck out.
They should do like They should do Assassin's Creed, like Django Unchained version of Assassin's Creed, where you're like a freed slave going through the South.
Oh my God! Imagine.
And post Civil War. That would be cool. Just freeing slaves and burning down plantations. I would play the crap out of that game.
Our Russian sponsored media is not going to like that.
That would be awesome. There you go. If you're listening, you could have that one free of charge. I just want a copy of that game.
Yep. Just make the protagonist's face completely square. It's a big square. Everybody else looks normal. He's just a square with eyes. All right. That's enough show. Yes. So much show. That's it, I think. I don't want to say anything else. Let's say goodbye and see you next week. Is that, can we do that?
Bread's done.